I've been playing a lot of the Granblue Fantasy Relink demo over the last 2 weeks that it's been out, and the two characters that I've gravitated towards the most have been Charlotta and Yodarha. With the full release of the game being just days away, I wanted to take some time to talk about some of my favorite characters that are present in the game so far. And since the gameplay of my favorite character in the game, Charlotta, basically boils down to, well, the square button, today we're going to be taking a look at Yodarha and his full kit in the demo. Hi, I'm Swift Shadow, and this is an overview and discussion of the demo version of Yodarha. Now, I do want to be upfront here and say that this isn't a full guide for Yodarha. This is merely the summation of what I've seen from playing the demo version of him, and things will definitely be different in the full version of the game. With that being said, I think that there is enough present in the demo that we can dive into mechanically and discuss, which will provide value for the full game in the future. Yodarha's main role is as a damage dealer, and he really wants to stay in the action and keep a long combo going. The longer that you're able to combo, the longer your combo finisher gets, and the less downtime that you have between your combo finisher. Yodarha also gets iframes at the start of the combo finisher to provide you with another defensive option you can use while keeping your combo going. You can see his offensive focus even more with the fact that 4 out of his 5 skills in the demo are purely damaging skills. Yodarha is also able to provide some team-wide support through the use of his skill Hymn of the Hundreds, and this skill could potentially be very useful in late-game content, especially if you're playing in pre-made teams of coordinated players. We'll talk more about Yodarha's skills a bit later, but for now let's look at the basics of Yodarha's kit. Yodarha has 2 support skills, both of which are passive skills that shape how he plays. His first support skill is Lost for Words, which allows him to enhance his skills based on the number of Triple Shroud marks that he has. The main way of gaining Triple Shroud marks on Yodarha is to land a combo finisher. You are given a Triple Shroud mark on the last hit of your combo finisher, which means that you do have to connect that hit in order to get your mark. Yodarha is able to hold up to 3 Triple Shroud marks at a time, and whenever you use a skill, it will consume all of your Triple Shroud marks to give that skill an additional effect. Yodarha also gains a Triple Shroud mark whenever he performs a Link attack, and you're also able to do a combo finisher directly from a Link attack, making Link attacks a quick way of gaining up to 2 Triple Shroud marks. Yodarha also has the added bonus that whenever you are in Link time, you are granted 3 Triple Shroud marks, and these marks do not get consumed whenever you use a skill. This allows you to use all of your skills with the benefits of having 3 Triple Shroud marks, and you're still able to keep your marks for later. Being able to effectively manage both building Triple Shroud marks and consuming them through the right skills is a key to Yodarha's playstyle. Yodarha's other support skill, Sharpened Focus, allows him to chain into another combo by pressing square after using a combo finisher. This is what allows him to keep his long combos going. Every time that Yodarha uses a combo finisher, the amount of hits that he needs to get to his next combo finisher decreases by 1, eventually ending up with only needing 1 hit to do your combo finisher. Unlike Triple Shroud marks, which are only granted on the last hit of your combo finisher, this combo shortening effect is given as soon as you input your combo finisher. This allows you to dodge out of your combo finisher and start up another combo and still have that hit shortening effect take place. It's also very important to note that Yodarha's combo shortening effect resets as soon as you stop your combo. With these support skills covered, let's take a deeper look at Yodarha's combo and his combo shortening. As mentioned previously, every single time that you do a combo finisher, Yodarha's combo will shorten by 1 hit. At a baseline, it takes 5 hits for you to get to your combo finisher, and then each time you do a combo finisher, that number of hits will be reduced by 1. It's also worth noting that it is technically faster to do your first combo in the air, since it will remove 1 hit of the combo. Yodarha's air combo is 4 hits into combo finisher, compared to his base ground combo, which is 5 hits into a finisher. However, if you do the first attack in the air too early, you'll end up doing a launch instead of your first hit of the combo, and then it ends up taking the same amount of hits as it would on the ground. And this principle only applies to your first combo, since once you've started a combo, you can't jump and continue your combo. Since Yodarha does want to get to the point where he's at his shortest combo and then continually loop that hit into combo finisher, it's very important that Yodarha doesn't lose his combo. And in order to help with this, Yodarha does get some invulnerability frames on his combo finisher. Yodarha gains invincibility for 2/3 of a second after you start your combo finisher, and then after that point, he is vulnerable again. Although Yodarha's combo finishers will get longer the deeper into a combo that you are, this amount of invincibility that you get is static and will not change. One great thing Yodarha has going for him is his ability to use a combo finisher out of a link attack or out of a damaging skill. This allows him to keep his combo going for longer, and it can be a great way of getting to his shortest combo even faster. It's also worth noting that the window for doing a combo finisher after a link attack or a skill is longer than it is after a normal combo, as long as you don't move or do another action. You can actually just stand still and wait, and you'll still have access to that combo finisher window. One caveat to the combo finisher is that if you dodge directly after doing a link attack or a skill, you'll lose your combo finisher window. However, if you're at your shortest combo and you do a hit before your skill or link attack, you are able to dodge afterwards and you'll still have access to that window. It's a small thing that might not matter at all, but I thought it was interesting when I realized it. Yodarha's triangle attack is a lunge that can be tapped or held and will counter any hits that it comes into contact with. If you're using this defensively, you'll want to release the triangle button just before the attack hits you. Performing a counter has the added advantage of instantly setting Yodarha to have his shortest combo, and it is also the quickest way that Yodarha is able to reach this point. Be on the lookout for counter opportunities early in a fight so that you can immediately get to this short combo and loop it repeatedly. It's also a great way of getting a combo started again if you happen to drop one in the middle of the fight. Now that we've covered his base kit, let's talk about the skills Yodarha has access to in the demo, and I do want to make a few disclaimers here before we start. First off, I'm not going to be focusing much on damage here, and the footage you'll be seeing has multiple different builds being tried, so take all of the damage numbers with a grain of salt. I think focusing on power levels of characters and concrete damage output right now is pretty counterintuitive with the setups that we have and how early into the game the demo puts us. Additionally, the durations that I'm using might be slightly off since I've done all of my testing on PS4 Pro, and the frame rate seems to be a bit inconsistent, hovering at around 30 FPS most of the time. We should be getting more concrete numbers once the full game is out, especially with tools for the PC version, so I'll try to cover all of that in full guides later down the line, but for the time being, this was the way that I wanted to go about things. To start off for the skills, let's talk about the only non-damaging skill that Yodarha has in the demo, Hymn of the Hundreds. Hymn of the Hundreds has the longest cooldown out of all of Yodarha's demo skills with a 73-second cooldown. This skill gives the mirror image buff to Yodarha if it's used when your triple shroud marks are at 0, 1, or 2, or it gives mirror image to the entire party when your marks are at 3. The duration of the buff also scales with your triple shroud stacks, with 0 stacks giving you 30 seconds, 1 giving you 40, 2 giving you 50, and 3 giving you 60. When a character has mirror image, they're able to nullify any damage that they take for the next 3 hits, and after taking 3 hits, they lose the buff. Since this skill is a buff, Yodarha is not able to do a combo finisher after using this skill, and using this skill will also reset your combo. As a result, it's very important to pay attention to the timing that you use this skill. It's best to use this skill when you know that you're going to be able to perform a counter shortly after to get your combo back up, or at a time when you don't need that shorter combo. And of course, the most important thing about the timing of this skill is using it when you know that you're going to need it to nullify damage. I think in the demo, this skill has been slightly underwhelming just because Rot Golem as a boss isn't really that hard to fight, but this skill is probably what's going to set Yodarha apart from some of the other damage dealers in Granblue Fantasy Relink. I imagine that this skill will be extremely valuable in late-game content where damage might be hard or impossible to avoid, and being able to just nullify 3 hits is incredible. Now let's move on to the damaging skills. Awakening is a fast lunge slash that deals more hits based on Yodarha's triple shroud marks. This is Yodarha's main gap closer. Awakening is both the lowest cooldown skill Yodarha has at a 15-second cooldown, as well as his lowest damage dealing skill. Awakening will deal an additional hit for each triple shroud mark that you have, with Awakening at 0 marks giving you 3 hits, and Awakening at 3 marks giving you 6. Due to its low damage and the fact that it comes off of cooldown so quickly, I don't think Awakening's the best option to be using your triple shroud marks on as long as you have other skills off cooldown. I think it sees much more value in terms of being a way of closing distance to enemies, or using early in a combo to get to your finisher faster, to build your triple shroud marks, and to get to your shortest combo faster. Shatter is a damaging skill that makes Yodarha jump into the air and then land and unleash a shockwave that travels in a straight line. This skill has a 33-second cooldown, which is just over double what Awakening's cooldown is. And as a trade-off for the longer cooldown, Shatter does more damage. Shatter does the same amount of damage at 0 marks as Awakening does at 3 marks. Shatter does 2 hits, and you do need to be close enough to the enemy to be able to connect both of them. Any triple shroud marks that are consumed on using this skill will scale the damage of just the second hit. As a whole, this skill isn't a bad option to be burning your triple shroud marks on, especially if you're in a position where you're not able to land some of Yodarha's longer skills. And speaking of longer skills, next we have Empty Mist, which unleashes a cyclone of slashes and you can continue holding the button to slash for longer. The maximum duration of this skill scales with the amount of triple shroud marks that you have, and the maximum durations for each mark can be seen on screen now. Empty Mist has a 48-second cooldown. Another benefit that consuming triple shroud marks on this skill has is that the finisher of the skill gets an extra hit, where it does 1 hit at 0 marks and 4 hits at 3 marks. And the final hit of this skill will scale in damage slightly based on the amount of marks that you've consumed. However, the main benefit of using triple shroud marks here is that it increases the skill's duration, and this duration increase is pretty backloaded, so getting to 3 marks as opposed to only 2 is a pretty big benefit. If you're not able to use the full skill and you need to let it go early, then having more than 1 mark really isn't a huge deal. It's very important to make sure that you do connect the full Empty Mist and its final set of hits if you want to get the full benefit from using your triple shroud marks here. Since you're fully stationary the entire time of the skill, and since the full duration at 3 marks is 4 seconds, this can be pretty difficult. Whether or not you'll want to use all 3 marks here depends on the type of content that you're in. If you're in AoE content, where you have a lot of small enemies that you can consistently hit, then having 3 marks on this skill will be a huge benefit. However, if you're against one target that tends to move around a lot and you're not able to actually land the entire duration of the skill, then you probably don't need to be building marks and using them here. And last but definitely not least, we have Flashing Void, which takes the top spot in terms of damage, duration, and cooldown for Yodarha's damaging skills. Flashing Void is a skill that can be used multiple times in succession by pressing the same face button that you assigned the skill to with good timing, and the keyword there is good timing, not perfect timing like some other characters have. This is a skill that you can freely mash and it will work, you just need to get an input out when this circle indicator is on screen. And unlike characters with perfect timing, this won't lock you out of the skill window if you do your input too early. Flashing Void is a skill that has a 10-second duration to perform the full move, and it has a 63-second cooldown. This skill is Yodarha's best damaging option, assuming everything connects, and it does track whatever you are targeting, but it can still miss, especially if that target is mobile. Yodarha also takes no damage whatsoever during the duration of this skill, and again, this duration is 10 seconds, so it's a very long window, which makes it a nice defensive option as well. And who knows, this skill could have some pretty promising potential to ignore or bypass certain mechanics in late game fights. The large amount of damage that this skill can do, combined with its very lengthy cooldown, heavily incentivizes that you have 3 triple shroud marks up when you use it. Each triple shroud mark that is consumed by this skill will scale the damage of every hit of the skill, and you'll also get some additional hits at the very end. Again, to make the most of this skill, you're going to want to make sure that every single hit of this skill connects. At 3 triple shroud marks, almost a third of the skill's damage comes from the last set of hits, so making it to the end of the skill and making sure that those hits connect is pretty huge. Every input of the skill leading up to this final set of hits will do about 5 to 7% of the skill's total damage. Yodarha's Skybound art is Ultimate Flash, and since he's a wind character, using his SBA first can be used to trigger the Wind Full Burst Gale Burst. Yodarha's SBA has the 3rd highest actionable duration out of the demo cast. This is the time period after the SBA cut-in cinematic, up until the chain chance indicator appears. This is basically the period where other party members are able to act during a character's SBA. You can see the full list of all of the characters in the demo and their actionable durations for their SBAs on screen now. Now, is this the most important metric to be judging SBAs on? Maybe not, but it's definitely impactful. The timer for quests is paused during this time period, and it's a free window for your other party members to be doing damage. This is also one of the consistent things that stays the same if the character is a computer. Having a longer SBA is just generally a very good thing. It means that you have a longer damage window for your team that is not being counted against your clear time. With Yodarha's kit covered, let's talk about some traits that are useful to him. I'm not going to say too much here since we are limited on the weapons and sigils that are available in the demo, but I did want to touch on this at least briefly. From what we've seen so far, Combo Booster is the best damaging trait that you can have, and Yodarha really needs to be keeping up his combo anyways, so you should always have full uptime on this when you are doing damage. Some other nice damaging traits are critical hit rate, Tyranny, and either Stamina or Enmity depending on if you can keep your health full or low respectively. Attack Power is also just a nice unconditional attack buff that you can use. Utility traits like Quick Cooldown could also be useful to help keep full uptime on skills like Hymn of the 100, or traits like Uplift could also see use for getting SBA up earlier if it's necessary. Again, there are going to be more traits in the full version of the game, so this is likely to change, but I did want to touch on the things that I was seeing from the demo. And with that, we've covered most of the information we have about Yodarha himself, but it is also nice to talk about some notable teammates that you can use with him. This is particularly useful if you're playing in single player where you have direct control over your party. If you're playing in multiplayer, you kind of have to take what you can get. And if you're playing in single player with a character like Yodarha who's focused on dealing damage, then you should be dealing most of the damage in your team. So you can be setting up the rest of your party in order to make Yodarha's damage more effective. Since Yodarha's higher damaging skills have long durations, having crowd control effects like Paralysis, Slow, or Freeze to make sure that you can fully connect all of them is useful. Yodarha has no skills that buff his own attack or any skills that debuff enemies' defense, so having people who can apply team-wide attack buffs or defense debuffs is even more useful. Buffs and debuffs also don't stack, so if you have multiple buffs or debuffs of the same type, only the highest amount will be applied. With a character like Yodarha who's not applying any of these, you don't lose any value on them compared to a character like Charlotta, who has a massive attack buff and a defense debuff that she can also apply. As a result of this, characters like Io, Zeta, and Gondagoza are all great partners for Yodarha since they all have access to 2 out of 3 of these positive aspects. CC and a defense debuff in the case of Io, or CC and team-wide attack buffs in the case of Zeta and Gondagoza. And with that, we've covered just about everything there is to cover for this demo. But if you're still not sure about Yodarha, then consider the following. If you like aggressive characters that prefer to stay up close in the action, then Yodarha might be the character for you. When you're able to maintain Yodarha's shortest combo and build your triple shroud marks efficiently, Yodarha can really pump out some great damage. Just make sure that you're confident in timing your defensive options properly to not take hits while doing so, as he is a character that is punished extremely heavily for being hit or having his combos interrupted. If you want to see some more Yodarha gameplay and some practical applications of the things that I've covered here, feel free to check out my Rot Golem clear with him by clicking the card on screen now or by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I hope this was useful to any of you future Yodarha mains out there. Hello, this is Future Swift after having edited all of this, and I just wanted to take some time at the end here to talk about some things, and I'm just going to throw trailer footage over this so that you have something to look at. First off, if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to say that I really appreciate it. Thank you. It took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to research, record, script, and edit this entire video, and this is the most effort that I've put into a project that I've done like this so far. And I know a lot of people are already playing the game through early access, so I don't know if this has as much value as I would have liked it to, but I also wanted to use this video as kind of a trial run for how I'd like to structure informative content like this for the full game. If there's anything in particular that you liked or disliked about this video, please let me know in a comment so that I know what to focus on or to avoid going forward. I know that a lot of YouTubers will try to farm engagement by getting comments or whatever, but I genuinely would really like to know what you thought so that I can put out better stuff in the future. In terms of making content going forward, I'll be holding off on making character guides for the full game for at least the next few weeks. Part of this is just me wanting to pace myself and actually enjoy the game, but I also don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about when I haven't explored all of the content that is present in the game. I also mentioned previously that I was working on a video of my overall thoughts on the demo, but with this taking as long as it has, I'm just going to push that back into a full review of the game sometime before we get the update in March. I will be multi-streaming most of my playtime both here and on Twitch, link in the description, so if you are interested in that, feel free to come by and hang out. I'll probably also post clear videos of certain fights, or maybe short videos explaining different mechanics in the meantime. I do want to make more informative content like this in the future once I have a good grasp of the game, so that will be a focus in the future as well. And again, thank you for watching this, especially if you made it all the way to the end here. I really appreciate it.